If you're struggling with making tough decisions for your child and you're not sure what the best option is, and you're really getting overwhelmed and stressed by making a decision that could possibly impact your child's life significantly, then this video is for you. By the end of this video, you will know 4 key questions that you can use as a guide, as a compass, whenever you're making a decision as a parent, to make sure that you always make decisions that are aligned with your core family values and with your goals as a parent. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to define our core values as an individual, as a family, and how to define what truly matters most to us as parents. What are our goals as parents, so that we can use those as a compass to guide us in making decisions for our children. And the reason I'm making this video is that recently I've had to make tough decisions for my children, and especially I'm in the process of deciding whether next year, when Emma starts reception year, I'm going to homeschool her or send her to public school. And so I find that as parents, we're constantly, confronted to those really big questions about our children's lives, questions that may impact their lives in a very significant way. And so sometimes it's really hard to know what is the right answer. And so, we may ask for advice, we may do some research online, but oftentimes when there's no right and wrong answer, for example, choosing to homeschool versus public school, there's no right and wrong answer. And so, it's very difficult to make a decision. We may have some, contradicting opinions from our friends and family. There's so many different parenting styles out there. We are constantly, as parents, bombarded with information about different approaches to parenting, and, everybody seems to have the best answer. And it's hard to make sense of all of that information that we are getting. And it can be really confusing, and it can be really stressful having to make those big decisions for our children when they are too young to really tell us, what they want and what is best for them. And so that's why I think it's really important to really truly define your core family values and your goals as a parent, to know what truly matters to you as a parent. What are you trying to achieve as a parent, so that you can use that as a guide whenever you're making a decision for your children. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Soraya. I'm a mother of 2 beautiful children, and here on this channel I talk about everything related to homeschooling, children empowerment, and social emotional learning. And so if these are topics you're interested in, I would love for you to subscribe. Please make sure you hit the notification bell so that you never miss one of my videos. So let's dive in. So the first exercise we're going to do is to help us determine what our core values are. And core values are a set of fundamental beliefs or ideals that really shape your decision making and inform how you want to live your life. I heard somebody say that they're a kind of GPS that help you navigate through life. And so I think that's really true. That's why it's so important for you to understand what your core values are. All of us have different core values. All of us have different priorities, different belief system. And so it's really important for you to know what your core values are, so that, you can really make decisions that are fully aligned with them. And so whenever it comes to parenting and making decisions for our children, those core values, family values, personal values, really can help inform the decisions that we make. So how do you determine what your core values are? Get a white sheet of paper and a pen and start writing down all of the words that are meaningful to you, all of the words that are important to you. And if you're looking for inspiration, you can think about times when you felt truly happy and authentic. And what was it that made you feel so happy, so authentic? You can think about times when you felt very unhappy or angry about something, and what was it that made you feel that way? What is the value that is, that was not being respected in that moment that made you so upset? You can think about people whom you truly admire and write down what are the qualities in them that, really inspire you. You can think about moments when you felt inspired to stand up for something, or you took action. What was it that made you take action? What was it that inspired you to stand up for something? You know, for example, if it was because there was a situation that was unfair, then maybe one of your core values is fairness. If it was because you felt like you had to protect a member of your family, then maybe family is one of your core values. And if you're really stuck, you can also have a look at core values list online. I'm going to link one of them below. And so usually on this list, there's like 100 of words that you can look at and then see which ones really pop out to you, which one are really meaningful to you, and you can write them down as well. So once you've done that, you probably have, a couple of words on your paper. And so what you want to do is start grouping them, because, you quickly realize that some of these words kind of mean the same thing, or are in the same family, or can be grouped under one larger umbrella term. For example, you may have learning, self-development, and self-improvement, and all of them can be grouped under growth. So try and group words so that you end up with 3 to 6 words. You could go up to 10, but really, since these are your core values, the things that are really, truly very important to you and that are truly you, I recommend not going above 6. I think 6 is really enough. So for example, my values are compassion, fairness, faith, courage, and family. So once you have those 3 to 6 words, you want to think about what these words mean to you. So, turn your piece of paper around, and on the other side, write down those words, and next to them, write your definition of these words, what they mean to you. For example, for me, courage means that I am brave, I have the courage of my opinions, and I stand up for what is right. So write your own definition. And once you've done that, you're going to rank them by level of priority. How important is each one of these to you? Which one is the most important one out of all of them? So once you have that, you actually have something to weigh your decisions against. So now that we know all of our core values, we're going to define what matters most to us as parents. And this is also going to help us have a compass to make any parenting decision, especially those really tough ones when you're not sure what's the right answer. Once you know this, you're going to be better able to navigate those decisions and know what is right for you and your family. So I'm going to show you 3 exercises to do so, and these are exercises that Tiffany Dufu in her amazing book Drop the Ball recommends, and they have been incredibly helpful for me, and I think anyone should do them, especially parents. So in the first exercise, you're going to think about what you want your legacy to be to your children. So in years and years from now, when your child has grown old and they're talking to their grandchildren, what do you want them to say about you? Do you want them to say, my mom taught me to be an upstander who always speaks up for what is right? Or do you want them to say, my mom taught me to care about the planet and always be mindful about the consequences of my action on the earth around us? Or do you want them to say, my mom taught me the value of family and to always put my family first no matter what? What is your legacy? What is the one thing that your child will take from you and that will shape them as an adult, that will really truly impact their life, truly impact how they approach any situation in life, that will really shape, the way they behave and the way they do things. And a lot of time you will find that this legacy that you want to give your children, this goal that you have as a parent, or these goals, you may have 2 or 3 that you have as a parent, are completely aligned with your values. For example, I mentioned that my core values are, include compassion, fairness, and courage. And I really want to raise children who are socially conscious and who stand up for social justice. So this is definitely something that I want to teach my children and really be a part of them. The second exercise is a very interesting one because it will help you see yourself from the eyes of others and maybe discover some of your strengths that you didn't even know you had. So in this exercise, you're going to ask some people around you. You can ask some friends, some family members, maybe even some people that you are a little bit less close with, but close enough that you can actually ask this kind of questions, like maybe a work colleague or something. You're going to ask them, when was a moment when you had a great impact on them and you had, you really inspired them? And here you really want to identify what are your gifts and qualities that have the greatest impact on others. And you may be surprised by some of the things people had to say about you. And the reason why it's really important to know, what your qualities are that have the greatest impact on others is that sometimes we may want some things for our children but not actually be the best person to deliver that. So for example, I am half French and half Tunisian. And so my husband is Egyptian, and it's really important for me to transmit our Arabic culture to my children as well. I really want them to be able to speak Arabic fluently, but the reality is I was born and grew up in France, and so I'm very, very culturally French, even though, I have, a cultural inheritance from my Tunisian side of the family. But the truth is I grew up in France, and Arabic for me is a foreign language. I learned it as an adult at university, so I am not as fluent as somebody who would be born and bred in an Arabic country. And so my husband is in a better position to transmit those to my children than I am. And so you may have some goals for your children, things that you want to transmit to them, but you're not actually the best person to do so. And that's okay. But so you really need to focus on what your strengths are. What is the place where you're really good at making a big impact? And the third and final exercise is super quick and easy to do, and it is to ask yourself, how do you enjoy spending your time with your children? What do you love doing with them? And we will all have very different answers to that question, but it's really important to think about how you like spending your time with your kids, because you also want to make sure that your decisions as a parent are aligned with that. For example, I love organizing field trips and taking my kids on field trips, and I love doing arts and crafts with my kids, but I don't really like sports, so I don't really like running around with them. So you won't see me playing football with my children. So now that you've done all 4 exercises, you end up with a very effective compass that helps you make any decisions related to your children, because now you know your values, you know your legacy, you know your gifts, and you know how you want to spend your time. So the next time you're faced with a tough parenting decision and you're not sure which one is the right answer, you need to ask yourself 4 key questions. Which one of these options is best in line with my values? Which one of these options advances me towards the legacy that I want to create for my children? Which one of these options is the best use of my innate gifts? And which one of these options is best aligned with how I want to spend time with my children? And usually, answering these questions will really help you identify what is the best answer for that tough parenting decision. I hope you found today's content helpful. If you did, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video.